Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Friday edition of Today in Sports Betting, doing it on the MLB side. As always, with my partner, Scott Reichel, going to talk a little baseball. Scott, how about those Yankees? They came through yesterday against Cleveland. You and I both faded the hell out of them, so congratulations to your Yankees on totally sticking it to us.
Happens. Yankees got back on track, went down 3-0 in the first inning. But Cleveland bullpen, I don't know why they stuck with Whitgren, who is clearly awful. But do you get the appeal of sticking with the guy with about a 7.7 ERA in a big moment there in about the 7th or 8th inning? Because I don't understand.
You know, I'd like to get upset about it, but I'm not going to get upset about a team that puts up 3 runs in the first, and nothing for the rest.
That's fair. I just find it interesting that you can make an argument that Karinchak's one of their best relievers. What's the point of bringing him in after Whitgren gives up the 2-run single to blow the game? You have him in the pen. Whitgren blows it.
They're to limit the damage.
I'm just saying, as you said, the Cleveland hasn't scored since the first inning, or I think they might have scored 1 in the second, but they hadn't scored in a while. Karinchak's been warming up for about a batter or two. You let Whitgren blow the game. Then as soon as he blows the game, give me Karinchak. Really? You don't want to maybe save his arm or something? Because you're clearly not going to win the game down 2.
Well, you never know. Maybe they're trying to build a guy's confidence.
Just saying, if the Yankees have one good area for this team consistently, it's been the bullpen, and Chapman's been nuts. So the odds of Cleveland, of all teams, scoring 2 runs to tie the game, I think is kind of far-fetched. So I think wasting Karinchak's arm was kind of a dumb move there by the managing, but that's just my thought.
By the way, Scott, all those runs did come in the first inning.
Okay, they did. I wasn't sure if one of them came.
That was it. I'm trying to see how many.
Oh, I know. It's like Cleveland's bullpen's been good, but then you see in a tie game to bring in Shaw and Whitgren, and I'm like, what happened to your good relievers? Don't you have some good relievers?
I don't mind Shaw, but
Shaw's been terrible in the past. This year's might have been decent, but I've never been a Brian Shaw guy.
So the Indians had 4 hits in the first. Scott had 4 hits the rest of the game.
Okay,
terrific. That's just. I'm not going to bitch about the bullpen when you just puke it up like that.
I wasn't fully bitching about it. I was just stating a fact that I just think that Cleveland choosing to go to one of their best relievers after their bad one kind of blew the game, I just think is kind of an interesting move. That was the only point I was trying to make.
Well, I mean, at that point, you about have to go get him. But
Whitgren walks 2 guys, bases are loaded. I'm like, all right, he clearly just walked the last 2 batters. He's clearly dead to rights. And it's like, all right, let's keep him in. I'm like, what? Why? Okay, sure, whatever.
I know. All right, so moving on. Putting that in our rearview mirror, Scott, as we often have to do. Got a pretty good card here today, bud. Got some good games cooked up. DeGrom's going, of course, and
the great card. We got Brubaker on the mound.
You got Brubaker, Fetty.
Looking good.
You got Fetty Wap going. What do you want to start with?
Well, I think the place we should probably start involves the MVP because I got money on Trout, and he took one to the elbow yesterday, intentionally or not intentionally. It looked intentional. He kind of stuck his elbow out there. It was a good Conforto impression, which I thought was pretty impressive. But he got pulled after his second at bat, and he didn't return. I know that they've checked out his elbow. Seemed like all the MRIs and stuff came back negative, but you have to kind of wonder if the Angels will handle him with baby wrap, as I kind of talked about in the NBA show with the Nets and Durant. I don't think Trout's going to play in this game. I think he should be able to return probably Saturday or Sunday, but I think you'd agree that there's really not much more precious cargo than Trout in today's MLB. So I don't think the Angels are going to force him back if he potentially has a sore or bruised elbow. So I think Trout's going to be out. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I didn't see the play. I don't know.
I mean,
I know he's not on the list yet. He's not even. Of course, they don't do him the same way. They don't, until they put him on the IL.
He did the classic reaction where he jumps up and down. He's grabbing his elbow, and they pulled him after some grimacing. So
I don't know. You could take it on the funny bone there, Scott, and it feels a lot worse than it actually is. My question is, why is he wearing a pad?
Good question.
But I'm sure it has to do with inhibiting his swing or whatever. I know the answer. But
well, he might be wearing a pad. It might just not be fully protecting the spot that got hit.
Well, you would think it would go over your elbow, since that's really
I would hope it would,
the
but
main problem.
maybe he just doesn't find it comfortable. Maybe he just likes the extreme range of motion.
So for that game, then we've got
Astros in favored. You got Greinke on the mound.
Greinke on the mound at -129 for the Astros. Haney going for the Angels. I just kind of have an unnatural dislike of Haney. I don't know why.
Well, I find it fascinating because you said the lines are around -129. However, FanDuel has Houston -152.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's just.
I am literally looking at Bet Online right now at 129.
I was gonna say I can't say if that's East Coast bias because neither of those teams are in the East Coast, or that's just pricing in Trout potentially not playing.
Interesting development there. Let me see what I have.
I like Houston. I don't know how you're supposed to go against Greinke. Greinke's been great this year.
He has, and again, I'm not in the habit of putting a lot of faith in Haney.
Correct. I don't think Haney's very good. And Houston, well, they used to have a lot of good batters against lefties. Now they kind of have a C+ lineup now with all the COVID issues. But they won yesterday 8-2. They're still a good home team. And I'm assuming Trout's not going to play. So based on that,
it kind of looks that way. This opened at -125 at Pinnacle. And you can still, like I said, you find it at Bet Online at -129. -125 at Westgate, but on Pinnacle right now it's -140, so they've lost 15 cents of value, or it's moved 15 cents.
So wouldn't you agree that's kind of an early indication that people are assuming Trout's not going to play?
Yeah, I would say that's exactly what that news is bet on, because this is a weird time for lines to move like that, as you well know. Mm-hmm. So to get that kind of a movement, you're looking at.
And we've talked on the show about
12% line move, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked on the show about how Trout's probably worth like 35 cents, 35 to 40.
Yeah, depending on especially against a left-hander. Yeah. And I'm assuming.
Well, it's not against the left-hander because Greinke's a righty, but still.
What's that? I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Trout plays for the Angels. Yeah, I'm looking at him facing Haney, going, I bet he's got a good history against Haney.
I'm sure he does in batting practice.
Engage brain fart right there, buddy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, Greinke. Of course, he's seen Greinke a number of times. So
even if Trout was playing, it's still like the Angels. But it's still like the Astros. But the fact that he's probably not going to play, I gotta take Houston.
What do you make of these Astros, Scott? Are they going to turn it around?
Well, it really depends on A, what you actually think of the overall roster right now, and B, when you think all of their best players are coming back. I think that's the way you got to look at it. Then again, the A's in that division prove that it's really never a good idea to overreact in April because they were awful early on. Now they've won 11 in a row. So I'm not going to overreact to Houston. I know going into the year we both didn't like that team, but we also didn't – well, you thought the Angels would be decent. I didn't like the Angels at all. So I'm not going to overreact to both teams either way, but I think the Astros at home are usually a pretty good bet against the Angels. And now without Trout, I think they got the job done because they clearly have the far superior starting pitcher in this matchup.
Yep, no question about that. Scott, am I wrong just to want to play Fetty at +258 against DeGrom?
I mean, you're talking about the classic fade DeGrom angle, which has been insanely profitable. I think right now, straight up, they're 5 under because they were 6, but they ended up beating the Rockies. So I think they're 5 under when DeGrom pitches for like the last 3 years, even though his ERA is like below 2.
It's ridiculous.
I'm curious what the units are on that. I've only heard about that from the actual straight up perspective. I got to assume that every time DeGrom loses, the other team's about 2-1.
I was going to say, I bet they average +200.
And like every time that the Mets end up winning, you're probably just getting like -190 to like -230 there. So you're probably up a ton of units if you've been fading DeGrom for 3 years. But
you definitely are.
Fetty's awful, but the Mets can't hit. So I think that kind of cancels out. Total in that one, I believe, is at 7. I would take the Nationals on the reverse run line. I would just take the 1.5. Probably getting around even money, maybe even a small plus price.
Plus 115, sir.
It's plus 115 against a team that can't hit and a team that has given no run support to their pitcher for about 3 years. Plus, if you want to actually look at some other factors here, the Mets are at home for that game, right?
Yep.
So that means there's a chance they're not batting in the 9th. So you're in a pretty good spot there.
Do you know who else can't hit?
Ooh. The Yankees.
It's the Nationals.
That too.
Nationals not scoring a ton of runs either, but
Sounds like you're a first 5 under guy, even though Fetty's been terrible.
Fetty actually, Scott, he's been good his last 2 starts. He's another guy that got destroyed in his first start, but then is pitched 9 2/3 over his last 2 starts, two earned runs total, 10 hits.
Famous last couple of words. Fetty was pretty good in his last 2 starts.
At least I didn't say he's got good stuff.
That's true. DeGrom has good stuff. DeGrom has very good stuff.
Got a microscopic whip.
Mm-hmm.
0.58.
His numbers are almost as good as Corbin Burns.
I think Burns' whip is 0.4.
Yeah.
That's just so stupid.
Well, I watched DeGrom pitch over the weekend. He struck out 9 straight batters.
Is that right?
Yeah. I was watching. He was against the Rockies. He struck out 9 in a row.
Outstanding.
Yeah, but if I was going to play it, I would probably take the Nationals plus 1.5. You're looking at a situation where both teams can't score. The Nationals have seen DeGrom a decent amount, so maybe they can get 1 or 2 across. That might be all they need. But you have a situation where the Mets might not bat in the 9th, and you can still get plus 1.5 runs at plus money. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Scott, nobody ever paid for a yacht betting the reverse run line. Give me plus 258. I'm going all in on the Nationals right there. Give it to me.
Do you know how to actually drive a yacht?
I can learn.
I'm saying, okay.
I mean, I know how to drive a boat.
Okay, that counts.
I grew up with boats, man.
Well, you're further along than I am when it comes to knowing how to drive a boat.
You're not a boater?
In New York?
Yeah.
When the hell would I ever be on a boat?
You got lakes. You got lakes all over the place.
I want to really go on a boat in the Hudson River.
Not the lakes. You got freshwater lakes.
I'm messing with you.
2 hours from your house, you got great fishing.
Yeah, I'm sure. My family's not well-known fishermen in these parts.
You guys sail?
No.
Crew?
No. I use the rowing machine when I go to the gym. Does that count?
Ovaltine? Can you swim?
I can swim.
You can swim. Okay.
I mean, come on.
I don't know.
I don't know what percentage of people can't swim.
My son couldn't swim till he was like 14. Just didn't want to learn. Didn't care.
Well, what do you think? It took me a while.
We had a community pool. All of his buddies swam. He just learned how to swim himself.
So did you get him like the stomach water wings, or did you get him like the arm water wings when he was 13?
We just stayed in the shallow end.
Okay.
So they learned how to swim. Yeah, it was. But like if we went to the lake and stuff, he had to wear a life jacket.
Did he actually learn how to actually freestyle front crawl, or did he just do doggy paddle?
Oh no! He was a year later. He was on the swim team.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of him wanting to do it, and his buddies teaching him how to do it instead of the evil, my wife and I.
Yeah.
Because I get in the water, you just scream and kick and like
try not to drown. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I was even as old as I am, Scott. I'm after the generation where they just threw you in and hope for the best.
As long as you don't sink. That's what I heard.
If you just relax and float on your back, you're fine.
I can't breathe. Remain calm. It's fine. All is well.
All is well.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, I guess there's one game that we have to talk about. We're contractually obligated, and that, of course, is Yu Darvish against Clayton Kershaw.
Pretty good matchup.
Second verse, same as the first. This one ended up 2-zip Dodgers. Well, about 6 days ago, because it was the last time these two pitchers pitched. They were going back-to-back against each other. Dodgers minus 144. Padres plus 133.7 is your total. Scott, I'm going to make this short and sweet. Anytime I can get Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers at minus 144, I'm signing up for it.
That's really fair, especially after Kershaw dominated the first meeting against the Padres. However, Darvish looked really good also. Of course, his one mistake.
He absolutely did.
His one mistake was walking Kershaw with the bases loaded, and that was really all Kershaw needed.
God, we hit the first 5 on that. That was just so excellent.
But the thing you have to wonder, we've talked in the past about how pitchers, when they face the same team again for the second time, tend to look a lot worse. Having said that, you got a lot of wiggle room because the total in this one is 7, but both teams combined for 2 runs in the first meeting. So even if there's a little bit of regression there, you're looking at probably like 3-2, 4-2. Both these offenses have been awful for the past week.
Yeah.
We saw the Padres make us a lot of money by fading them against the Brewers, and they couldn't score a run to save their lives.
That was a good series. That was a good series for us, my friend.
Very good series, but the Dodgers as well have been really good this year. But if you look at their scores, can't really hit. And both offenses have struggled. Both pitchers are really good. I know the total's low, but in Los Angeles at night, I kind of got to like the under.
I don't know how you. I don't know how you don't play the under here as well.
I can't play the over. Tell you that much.
No, there's just because against normal pitchers like
if both offenses were on a bit of a heater, I'd consider it. But both offenses can barely hit water if they fell out of a boat right now.
Well, starting with that game against Darvish last time, they played 5 games. San Diego, counting that game, they've scored 8 runs in those 5 games.
Yeah,
that's 1.6 a game. Dodgers, not a ton better. They broke through that game. The middle or the first game of the San Diego series, they put up 11, but in the 4th since then they've scored 8. So they're averaging 2 over the last 4. Padres averaging 1.6 over their last 5.
Totals at 7. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, you can't. I can't get involved. I'm just gonna pay my 144 and be happy with it.
Okay, I'm just gonna take the under. I just think you'll see a lot.
That's a great play. I might even do a parlay here, and it's you certainly people that parlay baseball really don't like money, but I think there could be a correlated parlay here to be had on the Dodgers in the under.
You're not going to get any argument from me. That sounds about right.
Well, that makes a very boring show. So yep. I guess I'll have to tell more stories about when I was a youngin'.
Either that or when you tried to drown your son.
Poor little bastard. Just flopping around.
He never stood a chance.
Never stood a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only was on the swim team, the next year he was on the high school water polo team. So, man, you talk about a nasty sport that doesn't get enough credit for being a nasty sport. Those guys they file their toenails,
mm-hmm.
and then they gouge each other underneath the water. Do you not know any of this?
Vaguely. Doesn't surprise me, but
nasty. Fun sport to watch. You got to be in some serious shape there, dude.
You know who I heard was actually very good at water polo?
Not horses?
Marco Polo.
I think I could be wrong. I think since we record late at night instead of early in the morning, I think the quality of jokes have gone up late at night.
The truth is the bar was already set so low, so we're kind of just slowly moving it upwards.
I know you would roll out of bed and do the show.
Oh, well, not everybody can just wake up and be ready to talk about sports, but that's kind of how I am.
Anything else you want to talk about? I mean.
Blindly, barely even want to know. Oh, it's Alcantara against Wood. Good, give me the under. Does it matter his pitching?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was the game I was looking at. I like Alcantara, but Woods pitched really well this year.
Yeah, well, he had one start, but he looked really good. But we talked in the show yesterday. It was once again Sanchez on the mound, and we're like, does it really even matter? And the answer is no. The game was, I think, 3-0 at the end. These teams are perfect under teams because the books are obligated to price games between mediocre teams at around 7.5. It's usually the go-to line when you expect a low-scoring game. Every game the Giants play could arguably be 5.5, and you'd still make some money on the under. They really just can't score, and they give up no runs. And Wood's been good. Alcantara's very good. I gotta like the under 7.5.
They are the perfect under team. They really are.
Yeah.
They're a lot like the Baltimore Ravens of 2000.
Well, both these teams are good under teams. So.
Yep, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Scott,
I forgot your boys on the mound. You got Dunning on the mound.
Yeah, I got a lot of boys. I'll tell you somebody that was our boy last year.
Good pitcher, man. Dunning might be this year's Zach Allen.
He might be. Well, Scott, this is the one I want to talk about because you and I were on this last year with Quenyon Kim of the Cardinals.
Wasn't good his first start, but he
wasn't good his first start at all. So he's going tomorrow against. Or today, rather, against Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray makes me feel fine.
I kind of like the over in that game.
Can you count on the Cardinals? Can you count on the Cardinals to score? I mean, they're an all or they're. We talked about them before. They are the all or nothing team.
I feel like you kind of have to consider it because the Reds are just so bad at pitching, and I know that Gray has been pretty good in past years, but Gray's never really been a big innings eater guy. because he tends to nibble a little bit with 2 strikes, which causes his pitch count to rise. And you look at this Reds bullpen, they got murdered yesterday against Arizona. So their bullpen's already pretty shorthanded.
Right.
Their bullpen stinks. I mean, let's be real with this. They got no closer. Their middle relief isn't very good. And the Cardinals, on paper, have some decent hitters. And you're looking at Kim, who did not pitch well in his first start. The Reds can definitely mash, especially with Castellanos back in the lineup. But they can't pitch. Total in this one, 7.5. I think I got to take the over in that game.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And this is, we talk about this in NASCAR about the checker or wrecker. And this Cardinals offense, it is checker or wrecker. This is a very weird stat. Over the last 8 games, they've either scored 2 or less or 9 or more. Nothing in between. Nothing between 2 and 9 for over a week.
If it was 8.5, I'd probably lean under, but 7.5, you can't have 7.5 with the Reds. I just don't see how that should be 7.5.
Yep, and I do like the fact that they definitely have the worn out pen, and my God, did that pen get abused yesterday? You and I talked a little bit about it off the air. That was dreadful, just absolutely dreadful in that game.
Usually giving up 3 runs in extras is pretty bad. 6 runs? You have 6 runs in the 10th?
Yeah, 6 runs in the 10th. Not good.
Yep.
Sonny Gray made 1 start so far this season. He went against Tristan McKenzie there of Cleveland. They did get the win. They win 3-2. He went 4 1/3, gave up 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks.
What was his pitch count?
Struck out 6, huh?
What was his pitch count?
I don't have that one in front of me.
I'm just saying because he went 4 1/3. So that kind of backs my notion that his pitch count tends to get up there pretty quickly.
It would appear, especially it would also look like he got in trouble if you're taking him out 4 1/3.
Well, yeah. I know Greinke, not Greinke, sorry. I know that was Gray's first start of the season. His pitch count was actually 71, so it wasn't that bad. But I just think the Cardinals should get to him a little bit. And you look at this Reds offense, they're also really good at hitting. And Kim, I don't know if last year was a fluke or not, so I'm going to assume that he does a mediocre job. I'm looking at where both starters give up around 3, and I think the Reds bullpen's useless. So I think you'll see runs. I think the over is probably the move there.
Fair enough. I don't hate that. I'd like to see. I didn't see that game. I saw the stats on Kim's game. He went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned. Struck out 4, no home runs. So, I mean, I don't know whether they were hitting him hard. I don't know if it was just seeing eye grounders. I don't know what the hits were like. So, yeah, I'll play that one. So,
You taking your boy tomorrow, by the way, before we wrap up?
Am I taking Kikuchi?
Yeah.
Am I taking the Cooch?
I got to ask you every time he pitches. You've probably lost more money on Kikuchi than anybody else on the planet. You've been so invested in, doubling down on your stance. And then the one time you waver, he goes 7 innings, 2 runs, and you're right back on the horse.
I'm like the guy that drafts Mark Sanchez for his fantasy team every year.
Even though he retired 3 years ago?
I'm just using that. I'm just trying to think of a bad quarterback that people were loving for some reason. Kikuchi plus 125 going up against Boston.
I think Trubisky's a good comparison there.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I'm not playing Boston behind Perez, Scott.
We did well with Seattle. I know that I said I like the over in that one. Really, really lucky. That'll be on Call the Cops tomorrow, I'll tell you that much. But I like the Mariners as well because Pivetta shouldn't be laying minus 170 against anybody. And Seattle, this team's been good. And Boston, despite being a pretty good team record-wise, really not good at Fenway.
No, haven't pitched well at Fenway at all.
But I actually do like Perez. So I think Perez is kind of caught with his past reputation of being a pretty underwhelming pitcher. He's actually been decent for the last couple of years. He's really not been that bad. He
had 2 decent starts and then got lit up last time.
Yeah, I think as a whole, I think he's a serviceable back end of the rotation guy.
Well, and Kikuchi fell back in his backsliding ways after going 6. The game you talked about going 6, giving up 2, and picking up the win there. He goes 7 innings, gives up 5 earned. But they actually got the win in that game. So
bold call. I think I actually like the under 9.5 on that one.
No.
Just my opinion.
See,
I said it was bold.
No silicone gloves, man. I'm not touching that take.
I'm not going to bet it, but I'd lean under.
So in other words, you come on the show.
Yep.
Here's a bet I like for everybody
I
watching.
had to ask you about Kikuchi. I mean, that was, I'm kind of required to do that, don't you think?
Sure, but then you throw in this opinion. You say, I like the under.
But I'm saying, like, I think both pitchers are inconsistent. I think Perez is better than Kikuchi, but the Red Sox shouldn't be laying 135 at home. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the under, but once again, it's one of those spots where.
But you're not really going with the under.
I mean, I mentioned it.
What you want is a free play. And let me explain.
Is that what they want?
You make it. No, you want a free play. In other words, if the under hits, you say I was on it. I said I liked the under. If the under doesn't hit, you say, well, you know what? I didn't bet it. That's why I didn't bet it.
Well, we're not going to have a show tomorrow, so we probably won't bring it up. But the truth is, if it ends up not working out, 50% chance I get to mock you about Kikuchi. So it really works itself out.
50% chance?
Well, because if it goes over, one of the two pitchers is probably going to be terrible.
I was going to say 50% chance. I'll take plus 125.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me the cooch. I'm back on the cooch, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't quit you. I can't quit you.
I'm rooting for you. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, of course, because if it stays under.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, kids, that's a baseball show. How about that? As always, we enjoy it, doing it, bringing it to you. We hope you guys enjoy watching it, have a little fun, maybe learn a little something. And, of course, we wish you nothing but the best on all of your plays. We hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into what, Scott?
Cash money.
Cash money back at the window. All right. You guys have a great day. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out winnersandwhiners.com. And, of course, I've been Scott Steen. He's been Scott Reichel. We appreciate you doing your thing and stopping by and spending a little time with us. We'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.